He hid $400,000 from the woman who shared his bed, his kids, his last name. She found out from a letter, not a confession. This is not a story about bankruptcy. It's about whether love can survive when trust dies first. Hi, I'm Alec. I'm a psychologist with 20 years of experience, and I hold a degree in this work. And what you're about to hear is a real story. Anonymous, personal, the kind someone told me in this office when they got tired of lying to themselves. I changed the names, the details, the locations, but I didn't change the pain and I didn't change the truth. Like this video if you believe that silence kills more often than mistakes do. And subscribe because the next story is already waiting outside the door. There is a specific kind of silence that isn't peaceful. It's the silence of a mailbox you are afraid to open. No yelling, no accusation, just the sound of a wife cooking dinner while her husband checks their bank account on his phone under the table. Heart racing, face perfectly still. That silence arrived for Jenny on a Tuesday afternoon outside Atlanta. She was emptying the mail between soccer practice and piano lessons. A letter from a bank she didn't recognize. Not their bank. Not the one with the app on her phone. Her husband, Eric, was a project manager. 44 years old, nice watch, nice smile. The kind of guy who fixed things before you knew they were broken. He worked from home on Fridays. He coached their son's little league team. He remembered anniversary flowers every single year. Jenny thought they were fine, not rich, fine. A 4-bedroom house, 2 cars that started every morning, a vacation rental in Florida for 1 week every July. She thought the only debt was the mortgage and 1 car payment. That Tuesday, she opened the wrong envelope. The letter said, "Final notice regarding your second mortgage." She didn't know there was a first. Here is what Jenny found over the next 72 hours. Eric had been hiding money problems for 8 years. Not spending on affairs or gambling, spending on keeping the picture perfect. New roof? Credit card. Disney trip? Another credit card. His brother needed help with a business loan? Eric co-signed without a word. Crypto seemed like a way to catch up fast, so he borrowed more. Lost most of it, borrowed again to hide the first loss. He had 3 credit cards Jenny never saw. A personal loan from an online lender at 19% interest. A second mortgage on the house she thought they almost owned free and clear. Total $400,000. When Jenny confronted him, Eric did not deny it. He didn't get angry. He sat on the edge of their bed and said, "I was going to fix it before you ever found out." That was the sentence that broke her more than the number. No, "I'm sorry," no, "I lied," just "I was going to fix it." As if she was a problem to manage, not a person to include. The weeks that followed were not dramatic. Not throwing plates, not screaming in front of the kids, just a coldness that filled the house like gas leaking from a pipe you can't find. Jenny stopped asking about money. She stopped asking about anything. She cooked, she drove carpool, she smiled at parent-teacher conference. And every night she lay next to a man who had looked at her face for 8 years and decided she could not handle the truth. Eric went to work, came home, sat in the garage for 20 minutes before walking inside. He wasn't having an affair. He was just ashamed, deeply, quietly ashamed. The kind that doesn't cry or yell, the kind that just waits to be discovered. They tried marriage consulting, then financial therapy. A woman named Dr. Paulson who made them bring every bank statement to her office and lay them on the table like autopsy photos. Dr. Paulson asked Eric, "What were you afraid would happen if you told her?" Eric said, "She would leave." Then she asked Jenny, "If he had told you at $50,000, what would you have done?" Jenny said, "I would have been angry. Then I would have helped." Dr. Paulson wrote something down. Then she said, "The money isn't your real problem. The real problem is that Eric decided Jenny's reaction was more dangerous than his own deception. He chose control over partnership, and control is a one-player game." That was the first time Eric cried. Not when he admitted the debt, when he heard someone say out loud that he had been playing alone for 8 years. They sold the house, not because the bank forced them, because they could not afford the payments anymore, and because Jenny said she couldn't keep sleeping in a bedroom where every wall felt like a lie. The kids asked why they were moving. Eric said, "Daddy made some bad choices with money." Jenny stood behind him. She didn't correct him. She did not add, "and with trust." She just stood there. That was her version of trying. The new place was a 2-bedroom apartment complex called The Pines. Pool that was always green, neighbors who fought loud enough to hear through the walls. On their first night there, Jenny made spaghetti. Same pot she used for 10 years, same wooden spoon. Eric set the table, no phones, no TV, just the 3 things they had left: a hot meal, 2 tired parents, and a silence that was finally honest. They ate without pretending, without saying, "This is temporary" or "We'll get the house back." They just chewed and swallowed and passed the salt. Jenny looked at Eric across the table. He had bags under his eyes she'd never noticed. Or maybe she'd stopped looking. She said, "I don't know if I will ever trust you again." Eric said, "I know." She said, "But I'm still here." He didn't say thank you. He didn't say he loved her. He just nodded. Because some things are too heavy for words. And some things the only thing you can do is finish your dinner and wash the dishes and go to sleep next to the person you broke. Here's what happened after that. They didn't get a happy ending. Not the movie kind. Jenny started working part-time at a dental office. Eric took a second job delivering auto parts on Saturday morning. They paid off the highest interest cards first, then the personal loan. Then they started on the second mortgage. It took 3 years. 3 years of no vacation, no new cars, no hiding. Jenny still flinches when Eric picks up his phone near a bank statement. Eric still wakes up some nights replaying every lie he told. They don't call themselves healed. They call themselves working on it. But here is the strange thing. The thing Jenny told me in this office last year. She said, "I miss the house sometimes, but I don't miss the silence. I didn't realize how lonely I was until we stopped pretending." Eric said something similar. He said, "I thought I was protecting her. I was protecting myself. From what? From her knowing I wasn't perfect." That's not love. That's just ego in work boots. Here is my question for you. Eric was a provider, a father, a husband who never missed an anniversary. He also lied to his wife every single day for nearly a decade. He chose his image over their partnership. He would rather dig a deeper hole than admit he was standing in one. Jenny stayed, not because she forgave him, because she wanted to see if trust could grow back after it had been cut down. Some would call that brave. Others would call it fear of starting over. Who was more wrong? The man who did the debt, or the woman who never asked harder question about where the money was going? Was Eric a loving man who made a terrible mistake? Or was the mistake not the debt, but the decision to treat his wife like a child who could not handle the truth? You know my answer. Jenny told me once, I didn't stay because I believed in him. I stayed because I wanted to believe that 20 years meant something, even if I wasn't sure what. If you could sit across from Eric 3 years ago, the one checking his phone under the table while his wife made dinner, what would you tell him? I will tell you what I would say. You are not protecting anyone by lying. You are stealing their right to know their own life. And one day, the only thing heavier than debt in the look on their face when they realize you never trusted them enough to tell the truth. Now, I'm asking you, should Jenny have left? Is there a number, 50,000, 100,000, 400,000, that makes a lie unforgivable? Or is the number not the point? Is the point that Eric woke up every day and chose control over connection? And if you have been the one hiding something, not just money, what would it take for you to put the phone down and say, we need to talk? Type it in the comments. And if you want more stories about people who lost each other and then found themselves, hit subscribe. Because this channel is not about happy endings. It's about real ones. This is Alec Sessions. See you in the next session.